Time to musk up. Wow.
All right, hello. Early impressions on a brand new release. This is probably the absolute worst time to be doing this. I look like a mess, but that's all right. It's fresh in my head. I wore it to the gym, and I was on the treadmill, and this stuff was just beaming off of the skin. So I have a pretty good idea of what I'm getting here. Obviously, it's not overly complex, little linear after the citrus dies down, but I do want to also bring this up because when I was at Bloomingdale's, I knew about this, and so I asked, and there was this young lady, sales rep. Her name was Suzanne, and she was really nice. She knew what she was talking about. She pulled out a pamphlet of all of Francis Kurkdjian's older releases. She spoke to me about, well, the release 724, which is what we're talking about here. This was inspired by Francis Kurkdjian's time that he studied perfume in New York City. And if you look at the back of the label on the bottle, there's a city skyline there. We spoke about, like I said, all of the older releases he's made for other brands. And so she was in the know, and she offered me a sample. And so that's why I'm going to put her name and her number. You can get in contact with her if you want anything. Not just MFK, she can hop around from different departments. They have the Le Labo City exclusives there as well. And so you can speak to her about that as well, I'm sure. They expanded on Wash, a whole bunch of stuff. But anyways, let's get right into it. So here is, thank you, Suzanne, 724. And obviously this is like a 24/7, right? The city that never sleeps. And worn it twice, so like I said, early impressions. And in the light of a pure sky rising over the city ascends the elegant silhouette of 724, right? And so basically the three things they give you here is bergamot, white flower accord, and sensual musks. Now right off the bat, you're gonna get that bergamot and obviously the white florals. I kind of don't like it when they do that. I want to know what florals are in here. And his musk, the usual musk, the typical thing that he does when he plays with these white nitro musks that he puts in a lot of his fragrances. Except the good thing here is that it seems very controlled. The musks here, they don't bother me as much as some of the other fragrances that he has, like Aqua Universalis or something like that. And so like I said, yeah, I don't know if this reminds me necessarily of like the city, you know, what some people think when they think of New York City, but this reminds me of kind of two things, right? It kind of reminds me of this office building, you know, this a glass skyscraper, and you're inside the office, this clean, nice, modern office, and you just have sunlight beaming into this all glass building. And then also it kind of reminds me of the beach in a way, right? And so obviously there's a lot of beaches in New York, like Coney Island. This kind of reminds me of, because you get the bergamot, you get those white musks right underneath the whole fragrance that plays out. And mainly you're gonna get florals. The florals that I get here are very watery, transparent, but yet like slightly tropical in a way. So I'm getting like lily of the valley, maybe a tuberose, maybe jasmine, and a kind of this tropical kind of maybe frangipani kind of vibe. And none of these florals really stand out in particular. It just feels like a nice little blend, kind of soapy. I would also say there's probably some Ambrox in here as well, which is also probably adding to like the beachy vibe. A little salty, a little green, which I'm sure the bergamot is playing a role in this. You know, nothing groundbreaking, but you know, when I mentioned like a glass building, you know, you kind of think of Baccarat, like, you know, 540, that glass, what that fragrance was inspired by. But this isn't like Baccarat glass. Like this is just like clean, modern glass that you'd use to build a skyscraper with. Because I don't think this is this doesn't smell like ground level New York City. I remember I walked by, I was in the city not that long ago, and all I smelled was like weed and fried chicken and garbage. All right, and so I don't think Francis Kurkdjian had that intent. And yeah, just mainly this musky, white floral fragrance that comes off as very soapy, transparent, clean, vibrant. I get reflections off of this, sunlight bouncing off of glass mirrors. It's a nice wear. You know, I'm trying to be very subjective here about it, but MFK is found in many places, so I think it won't be that difficult for somebody to sample this if they wanted to. And yeah, and so Suzanne, thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking to you, and thank you for the sample. And yeah, hopefully this helps anyone that's looking into this fragrance. All right, take care, bye.